We gotta rock with that. With the
Yeah.
we gotta rock with the Asha
You have
clan.
no idea.
No idea what.
Oh man. We'll talk about it. Actually, I have nothing to say about this chick, really.
She kind of fall into the wayside in some ways because I don't really see her as often. So like I gotta force myself to I gotta remember her like like she's been in the in the Hadi Vishnu room for quite some time. Like, oh yeah, Asha is real. Like I gotta remind myself sometimes. Shoot. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Let's get it popping. So you had a bunch you completed your reread, right?
Yes, so for those who do not know, I have reread all of Kubera. I read half of the Finite actually, and I read the epilogues of Finite.
Yep.
I didn't
Okay.
finish the actual Finite, but I do know what happens because of some reason. Because that whole blog stuff and the way to find it was just so weird. It's like I have like
I could have
a
just
lot of.
given it to you. I have a see I make these videos for y'all where to find
I found it
stuff.
I found it like in the Discord, so I think it's the right thing. But like
Okay.
because you have the newer one, but the new one doesn't have everything, so you have to go back to the old one. So I have like so stuff that I don't know. I still know what happens with like Utapau and all that stuff, but I just want to actually like read the specific interactions. But like I know like all what like kind of happens. So before I get to the questions and just like thoughts, I'll just kind of say like some of the character stuff because there's not much really there that I'm gonna say. But
a little something like eeny, meeny, right from the beginning. Smoke a little pack, but the pack never timid. Church, but I'm seeing it. Curse when I'm winning. She need a new back. When it's back, I'ma bend it. Slap up some guinea. Pass me the hen it. Watch a nigga black slipper yak, I'ma quit it. Swerve in the Benzie. Perfume is Fendi. Bob and move fast, real fast like I'm Ricky. That's cause I'm pretty. Came from the dirt. Shovel up a nigga can't handle the work. Ooh, yeah, swing with it first. Young white girl like a ramble.
all the characters I already liked, I like far more. Uh, we're very much in the same camp. I think when it comes to rereads, and I think you'll be in the same with me of how much more you're going to appreciate everything.
Yeah.
And since you're starting off so strong, you're just knowing everybody. It's just so fun. Like even the beginning when things are just nice, it's just so nice to see people interact when things don't seem so like heavy. Uh, so Ari, I actually like a lot more on Ari Reed.
Oh, look at you. Welcome to the club.
Because there's certain people like on first rereads, like I don't like give my full attention. There's definitely characters I kind of just slip up on. Ari, I actually enjoy a lot more, and even in 1 and 2, a lot in 3. Her and Tio shit's really great. Uh, I'm trying to think who else kind of went up there. I actually like like the new Arivata a lot more. Uh, this guy, I actually have a lot of words on Ashura. I think Asha is actually one of the best Nausicaa written by Kurigo, actually.
Yeah, talk to me.
Uh, so I used to think Ashura, right, was a pure fight merchant. I was wrong. Okay, this guy is hidden, just like how his clan attribute is darkness. This guy has been hiding his intentions so well. Okay,
Mm.
he isn't a fight merchant, he's a survivor merchant. Which makes sense because he's a bug and bugs literally survive every fucking thing you throw at them. Okay?
Cockroach.
The reason why he always kept fighting Yaksha was because he specifically fought Yaksha because Yaksha was stronger than him. So everybody would know how much he gets beat up and he would forcibly be looked at as weaker by everybody. So the concept of him being corrected and erased would never come up because this was in the beginning of the universe where like strong people were getting corrected a lot and things are being thrown up or added in. And he specifically told Ravana,
So you
"I'm
think
doing
he's
this so
manipulating the whole
Yaksha
game and the
looks
whole
like a
system?
bully."
Okay.
Yes, he said that. Like he was talking to Ravana. He's like, "I'm going to make them look like a bully so I don't get fucked up." And then uh one, he actually loves Ravana, which I think it's one of those things of like you don't see really like loving relationships between Nausicaa like that. And his love for Ravana is a lot. Ravana's kind of a fucking idiot. We all know this. But
Yes.
the amount of protecting he's done for her, even in the finite, when he pulls up to Taxaka and he's like, dude, like, let her go. If you let her go, I'll help you usurp fucking Vitra. or after he got his ass beat by Yaksha, he was like actually really fucked up and he was hiding behind a rock and he created like a fake clone to like show Ravana that he's like fine. Like I think even though it seems like it's a little bit more one-sided because Ravana kind of uses him, I do like his like love for it because you wouldn't think he has like the ability to like have love, right? His clan has the most. I believe his clan has the most Rakshasas. I don't know if that's the case, but I do know when they were compared to another clan, they were stated to have 100 more than them. And it's been consistently said throughout the story that his clan is usually left untouched by wars and stuff by the way they play. So he should have the most Rakshasas. But that could also be due to the fact that his clan just can populate really well because they're insects. Maybe because like most of the Rakshasas are genderless, so they can't reproduce themselves. So maybe that's just, like a balancing thing. But they still do have the most from what I can tell, which is impressive, which means he's like really about getting the clan big. Plus, his clan is the only clan that accepts other clan members. He accepts snakes, he accepts Garuda clans, and he takes them in as his own. What else?
So basically,
I think they also said...
Go ahead.
Go on. Oh, sorry. No, but go say what you're saying. That's up to you then.
No, all I was gonna say was your main point to highlight that Ashura is more than just chaos and violence.
Yes.
Okay, that's fine.
Yes. He's extremely cunning. Yeah, and he's like, from what I can tell, I think a genuinely good leader. Now, does that mean he's not a dickhead? Absolutely not. He is. But like rightfully so. Like, I think they have the most 5th stage Rakshasas as well. And then this is something I didn't even really think about, but a lot of the King Nastikas, I think the thing is they're supposed to like kind of be paired well with like their god counterparts. Like I think this is mentioned. Like Garuda really has a really terrible relationship with Varuna specifically, and like they're like, you have to amend this, and Garuda's like, no, fuck her, I don't care. And Varuna hates Shuras, which it kind of goes into interesting because Anat and Kubera were relatively close, and they're both Earth. Agni Vitra, Agni did take Vitra's thing. I don't know if Kanara has anything with Vayu, but Ashura specifically went to Chandra to amend relationships, and that was specifically noted to be a smart play. And it's hinted that he used Chandra to get help, or he got help from Chandra to actually kill Yaksha later on. That's smart on him, even though you know me, I like Yaksha, so it's fuck him for that. But it's a smart play. And in present day, his clan's the one with the most power. Like they're the only clan that still has their number 1 and number 2. The only other clan that has that, the Vitra of a Vitra, they're fucking emotionless, so who cares? So like, when I'm like looking at this guy, I'm like, he's a power player, and I can't be mad at him. He's hitting his intentions well, and he's far more interesting than I initially thought him to be. That's my bad.
I'll keep a special eye out for him when I do my reread. That.
Yeah, like I think he's probably my 4th favorite Nastica now, 4th or 5th. I still have Gandhi, Yaksha, and Anato. I'm not thinking about my 4th real quick, but he's improved. I think he's good. And then I think everybody else, all the other characters are like kind of the same. I think I like Claude a little bit more. I hate Brahma twice as much for seeing what she did. I hate Yasha. Asha, I actually hate more. And that's not me trying to meme. I actually think she's like worse. Because some of the shit she was saying to Lee's at the end of season 2, I'm like, you have some nerve. It is vile.
That's why she's goated.
No, she's not. Fuck you.
Sugar. I mean, I'm sure the way you feel about her is how I feel about Ganhavra. I'm always fine with that. So, she's a great rated character. That's all I care about. I don't care if you like her, don't like her, you're indifferent. As long as you know and acknowledge that character is written.
That's what pisses me off more.
That's all I care about. So
that's the worst part. It's like, now I have to give you some credit, but I don't want to give you credit.
I feel like I wish it was like Lorraine. Ganhavra. I don't think he's a bad character. I just hate that nigga.
It's like Lorraine. We can all hate on Lorraine.
Yeah, I don't care. She sucks. That's okay. Asha, the guy who plays a cunning game in a species of meatheads. Anyone who does that lives longer. This is true. Resonate with Myles on this. Ashura as a king has probably served his clan to the best. When you look at what actually matters, he's smart. Why actually why? But he's the last clan standing. Yeah, no. I guess I gotta check my own biases. I didn't realize that. So it might have been one of those things that I like go under the radar. So I'm gonna keep a specific eye. Maybe it's something I will look out for when I'm reading. Like just general
No,
leaderships
if
and
there,
like how the clans. Go ahead.
no, you're right. I think, yeah, I think I genuinely think you're gonna like love this series even more. Truly,
Of course I am.
like it's
Slow
it's
random.
one of those weird things too because like I also realized how much I just genuinely wasn't paying attention, and I don't know if that's like one of those like unknowingly things sometimes when you're just reading but you're not absorbing the material. Because even like our recent talks, we'll talk about stuff, and I'll say things, and when I'm doing this reread, I'm like, what am I talking about? Like this is just wrong. But we'll get into it.
It's it's like I guess the one of the cons, I suppose you could say, if you want to call it that, of series like this that are extremely dense with information. If you're not constantly parsing through it, talking about it very regularly, or going through it over and over, you're just going to be a massive loss of information on various things. Whatever it is you decide to
Yes,
focus on, you'll catch. But like, this is why I believe that this is one of those series, you if you really care about it and the contents of it, and discussing it accurately, you got to do at minimum 2 reads. You got to read it once when you're completely lost and just experiencing it for the first time, and the second read you do with the hindsight and foreknowledge that you have is probably going to recontextualize a lot of older scenes and a lot of older moments, and you'll just understand the story better. Despite the where that's this story has gone, I also think Tower of God's a series that needs at least 2 reads if you really care about it and
I
talking about it.
agree.
Some series, I believe, in the grand scheme of things, there's a lot of information, but it's spread out well enough that if as long as you're kind of paying attention and you kind of talk about it here and there, so in a sense you could call it reviewing it a little bit, you won't be too lost. But there's so many moving parts and so many moving intersecting parts of this story because it's a very, I'll call it a very neat and tidy web of plot elements, central plots, character arcs, the X, Y, and Z, that it's easy to get lost if you're not really trying to pay attention to absorb it and write everything down. Which is why I rely on the chat a lot, because I know they've visited this material a lot more than me, and we all know my memory's not good, right? And I keep telling people who this like, oh, but you remember this thing and that thing, and I'm like, what makes you think I didn't read this like 80 times? The reason I remember Reborn the way I do is because I read it 1,000,000,000,000,000 times. It's not because I read it once and I have a big brain and I read everything. Like Reborn's been read like 20 times in my lifetime. So same thing One Piece. Like I remember what I remember because I revisit it so often. Not that I remember any of the
That's
new shit
facts.
because I don't care, because Wano sucks. But yeah. I don't know nothing about
That's
Wano.
like the same with me and like other days. I'm like, I know
Check
because I
my
read it.
bias
Like,
towards
trust me.
fish. No. Sorry, go ahead.
Uh,
See,
I'm trying to think
I
if
didn't take
there's.
notes my first read. I took
I
screenshots.
didn't either.
And what I did was I separated the screenshots by like days and stuff, so I kept them all together and they were in order. That's why when I did my reviews, you'd see me like reference certain things and it will come in a certain order because I actually had them all in the proper folders. Or not anymore. I'm thinking about doing it again, but I am going to take some notes. I think it's important, and screenshot all the important screenshots and organize it again. Then I'm gonna come back here and I'm gonna be theory crafting and doing all kind of stuff.
I th- I think when I was doing it, season 1 and season 2, I didn't take many notes on because I think season 1 and season 2 are a lot more straightforward, right? I do think there's a lot of things that you'll pick more up on like rereads, but I think she does a really good job of like, this is my base, and I'm going to make sure you understand who these characters are and the main general gist of it all. Because when season 3 hits, it's actually just nonstop. Like, this is a lot coming at you. Season
Mm-hmm.
3 has a lot of information, and the amount of notes and screenshots I took in season 3, I'm just like, wow. But season 3 is a lot. But there's also a lot of answers like that I got where I'm like, I have like huge paragraphs of stuff, thinking about stuff, and like literally like a few of them that were answered like a few chapters ago. I'm like, okay. I guess that's cool. But I think this is probably going to be. I'll get probably the biggest thing out the way. Okay, this is going to be a little combo of Lee's, Asha, Vishnu, Kali. Okay, we talked about this last week. Okay, but I think now I have sufficient evidence that of Asha's meeting with Vishnu, all this stuff. Okay, Asha is not Vishnu's card. Asha is Kali's card. Now, could that potentially mean Lee's is Vishnu's card by just proxy? Yes. However, I don't think Lee's is Vishnu's card. I think she's Anata's, and I think
That's what I was
Vishnu's
gonna
has
say.
not yet been revealed, or it's possible that Vishnu's is Ran, because it's mentioned quite a lot at the end of season 3. But the reason why I say this is, okay, Vishnu loses his body. We know this from the finite that Vishnu loses his body when he uses his time jump ability a lot. Or time something. I forget the proper name. Where like if he uses it so much, his body will actually just disappear from the universe and it won't reform until the next universe is formed. We know when the cataclysm starts, he disappears. We can assume it's from using time jump a lot because he's so far gone from the world that you literally can't use his magic anymore. And then when he told Kalavinka, he said, he literally says, I have the quote, because I thought the quote was not as even, like, I thought it was a lot more vague. But he directly says, oh, damn, did I delete it? No, fuck me. Whatever. He says something along the lines of, that's just simply not me that you'll be seeing. It's something else. And you have a picture of him smiling, and it's very reminiscent of Kali when Kali pretended to be him.
It said his eyes have no color. That same chapter, right? Or it can't be comprehended by people seeing it, so she can't really show the color. I can't remember. Okay, go ahead.
I think so. I think yes. I think it's like a best 11 or 12. Kali pretended to be Vishnu before. We have this on paper with Manaka. When the Manaka and Agni flashback, she's the one that goes up to Manaka and tells Manaka, I can help you get rid of Gandharva's sins. You can take them on if I give you the power of persuasion. And she gives him to that. And she thought it was Vishnu, and she goes to the other primevals, and they're like, you're stupid. That was Kali. So Kali has pretended to be Vishnu before.
I agree.
Not to mention, Vishnu never actually gives out deals. When things are required of him, he oftentimes just does them. Like with the Vitra clan stuff, he's the one that went and told Brahma, help out the dragons. And she did that. Whenever something with Kali is mentioned, she's always dealing with something in regards to the future. She always mentions, I'm going to take something. I don't care about what happens now. I'm going to take about something that will be happening in the future. And that's the exact same line of dialogue that Vishnu, quote unquote, uses with Asha. We know that normal Vishnu wouldn't say that. Now, does that mean normal Vishnu is a good guy? Probably not. I still think there's something up with him, but I don't think it's super sinister. And then there's even the conversation when Lisa's talking to Kali that's possessing Yuta's body. She's like, oh, Asha's Vishnu's pawn, right? And Kali kind of just like side eyes and doesn't say anything. And then again, when she gets the boots and she's talking to him, this is like chapter 87. This is happening in season 3. She's like, well, I thought since Ash is this, she's like, oh, you thought you were my pawn? And she's like, yeah. And then again, Kali just kind of like looks at her and like doesn't say anything, but like the looks kind of tell you like you're just wrong on both accounts. It's really weird. And then hold on, let me see, because I have a lot written. Okay, no, this is like kind of towards the end.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh, go on. Sorry, what were you saying?
I'm just gonna read the chat. So.
Yeah, I think that's just kind of like the main point. I think this just goes into why Ash is more so Callie's pawn, especially because Ash was used to take Kubera's names, which helped revive Anata, which Callie wants to help destroy the universe.
Mm.
And I don't think that's anything Vishnu would want. Vishnu's not. He's here to keep the balance. So I'm just saying for sure. I think it's Callie. I think she's Callie's card, and I think based off what we'll talk about later, I think Lisa is just for sure Anata's pawn. But yeah, that's kind of my thought on like that entire thing.
Lorraine is a bozo. Checker Tobias toward fish. Fish tastes good. Gotta try it sometimes. I mean, Sagara's not a great king. Ganhover is great, but not a great king. Okay, he is by selection doing well. Imagine reading COG season 3 twice. I'm better than this. Though Marina could potentially and even better. Taking notes helps a lot. Sagara at least tries. Respect that. Better king than Ganhover in all areas except strength. And strength, to be fair, is a part of what makes a good king in this verse. So might wins. I agree with that. Eravatu towards Kanara seems like a great king too, since her clan is doing well, but she might have been more self-serving after what Akasha said to her about Hanuman. Okay, Kanara did well, but Kanara Asagara tried, but she has also her clan mostly not really following her, and Ganhava is a low bar. I know, she's comparing her to Gandhi, not everyone else. Flourishing under a scamming leader who conjures internal conflict when she's in trouble. Okay. Strength is important and she falls short there. CCP Kanara? Hey. Okay, I get it. What might be more conflicted and but she tries and she might be conflicted and untrusted. Trust her all you want. At least Kanara's body parts are not sold in will love markets like our dear Yaksha brethren. Jesus Christ. Kali can't be Vishnu after the cataclysm. She is sealed in the temple on Kanshe at the time. Okay. She's kind of like Asha in a way, self-serving. Okay, now Erebata is better than Asha. I buy. She really did for the clan. Kanara dick riding is insane. Sure, buddy, you keep searching for the dick you don't find in Asha. Asha raw, man. All right, what else you got for me?
I just want to say I don't know if that's like a good enough excuse of what she showed at contest. I guess technically when we don't
for the Cali thing. Sorry.
Yeah, I guess one technically I don't know if we know if she was even sealed at that time. We know she sealed multitudes of times, but we don't know the actual time frame. We could assume it would make sense, but and I think just because she's sealed doesn't mean her power doesn't allow her to do stuff like she possessed Yuta and did other stuff.
True.
But I know Yuta's her son and stuff, but like I think there's more for her than Vishnu because Vishnu literally is gone. And she has time power, so you can just make the excuse she did it before she was ever sealed and just sent the future thing. Especially because she deals in more future stuff and Vishnu deals far more with past things. So there's that. But this is kind of more questioning stuff. So this is kind of closer because we got the shedding of Anata, right? At the end of the Anata arc. Which is
Anata's lingering will.
His what's it, Terra? He's Terra, right? He has his lingering will, and he has his body remaining. Okay. This is the weird part because it seems like he's the reason for the cataclysm, even though we got the Rautara stuff. Because when he's like kind of expanding out, he literally tells Kuroha, he's like, "I'm going to destroy the universe. You won't feel it yet." But like where like your home or whatever, which I think he's like referencing Willarv or something. I don't think he said home, but like that planet on the outskirts, they won't feel it for 2 or 3 years. And this is year 998, I believe. So I'm like, so he did cause like I assume a portion of the cataclysm, but for some reason it stopped, right? So did Vishnu stop him during this time, and that's why Vishnu's gone?
You think Vishnu did something and sacrificed like him being physically present in the universe to stop? Okay, I mean, I guess I mean that's not the craziest thing in my opinion.
But this is the weird thing, and maybe I could still be wrong, and I just found this out. But Vishnu and Shiva fought in the cataclysm.
I didn't remember that. If that was in the story, I didn't remember that.
It's like
I guess she was kind of one of those characters I kind of write off to the way I do Fanta. Cause I'm like, if you're not gonna show me, I kind of don't wanna. Remember about
Yeah.
that? So that's how personal. That's my fault. So a lot of Shiva information that's probably in there. I probably am not taking that seriously because I'm like, I'm kind of not a fan of like characters like that. Like, you know me. I don't like if we're gonna talk about a place that's important or a character or event that's important and not explore it. I'd rather you just not mention it to me. It's a personal thing. It's not. This is not Kurgan's fault. This is how I am. If you're like, oh yes, the forest of remembrance, where people lose their memories, and we never go there, I'm gonna ask you why the fuck you brought it up in the first place. That's how I am.
No, no, I agree because it's weird because it's kind of like the Edwan. Wow. It's like the what's the fucking red guy from Tower of God? That shows you how
Ryu?
long it's been. Enryu. We're like, I was under the impression I don't know if Enryu's even in the tower, like where we don't know people's things. I thought Shiva disappeared from the universe millions of years ago, right? Because he went to go things, but his magic was still in the universe until N0 when the cataclysm happened. His and Vishnu's magic disappeared at the same time. And in season one, I think chapter 30 something, Shiva and Vishnu are literally fighting like at the beginning of the panel. And I'm like, why is this never talked about?
What?
Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
So we have Anata potentially wrecking universe, Vishnu and Shiva fighting, and we have Roltara coming in and creating the the thing in the halves and quarters and stuff.
Mhm.
What the fuck? And I think this is like confirmed. So Asha has full on taken the shedding of Anata. That's the specific part she took.
Yeah.
Okay, so that would
That's
probably give inclination as to this sort
that's
of
the
thing.
thing that's behind her, and I believe in the weight of time that we see, because by that
Right.
point, Anata has already been dead, and the resurrection was attempted, but it failed. So the only version of Anata that should exist at that point should just have been I know I said a random stop, and I was just kidding. I was just talking shit. I wasn't. I was. That was not. Don't take that. Don't take that comment seriously. I just put rant. That's what I wanted to. It's your preference of who you like more. I like both. That's fair. It's Vishnu look into the future from the past. 10 years extension. Kali did the same thing. The Vishnu Asha man said that he's just a transcendental. There's dinner argument about Aravata and Kanara, which I don't really. I don't know. I don't know. I don't have any major thoughts on Kanara like that. They
Did
there.
do you think that because Asha took the lingering will, maybe I'm just overthinking. But
Mm.
when we did see the little bit of her in season 3, did you think she seemed even more willful? Like, do you think Anata's like desire to survive has like not infected her, but like make her more willing to like do shit just to survive?
I didn't. I don't know. That's an interesting question. I wouldn't
Because I
put it past the influence. I want to put on. I want to find the picture. I don't have it on my desktop here. This is the picture right here of Asha when you see her, and she kind of like her arm looks kind of crazy,
yes,
and her hair looks a little bit longer. Looks and like I know it's just it's a shading with the skin looks darker and everything. Where like I'm like, oh yeah, definitely somehow siphoning and using Anata's powers and abilities looking like this, terrifying and whatnot. As for the survival thing, because we know that she's supposed to have a small lifespan, LLEs we saw with Hatayama and things like that. Could his shedding of time be influencing her will to want to survive and survive longer? I could see it, honestly. The question would be that I guess if do you think that Asha has the capabilities or wherewithal to fight that off or not care or stay focused on quote unquote winning in the way that she wants to win? Do you think she still even has the exact same goals that she had before? There's a lot of things about her that remain to be seen because she's been in the wayside for this season, which I think is a good
yeah.
decision. Honestly, it's kind of weird when I think about how active Yuta and Asha were, and then how they're not right now. And I'm like, damn,
Mhm.
it's been a while. So,
Yeah,
I love Asha. Hold on, she's the worst in a good way. Just joined, but I heard you talking about Vishnu fighting Shiva. Could Raltara have something to do with it since she manifested with Marut's powers recently? I guess I'm not seeing a connection of how that could have relates to Shiva. I guess I'm not sure how that relates to Shiva. What am I missing?
Oh, I see what he's saying because in N5, oh, that's interesting. Because in N5, Rautara could only form because she was using the remnant power of Marut after Lila like sent Marut away. Because she made her overuse the power for Brilith's dad, so she just died. Remember, he died and she just left.
Oh, that's true. Okay,
So
I got you.
so
Okay.
because she had been using the destruction element of Shiva to like form, and that's why she was so fucking strong in Zero and could cause emotional resonance because she was using Shiva's destruction attribute.
That's
That's
insane.
interesting. That would make a lot of sense. I didn't think of
I
that.
like. I don't know if it's true, but I like the idea.
Because that would make sense as to why Shiva fought him. That would explain the resonance stuff. But then Vishnu must have hard carry if he stopped the shedding and. Huh, that's interesting.
That's crazy. Good catch. I actually really like Corey's like comments. Like they're always very insightful. Honestly, there's certain
Oh, that was
people
a
when they
really good
comment,
comment.
I read them. I read them intensely. Some of y'all trolling me. Some of y'all know me. Yada yada. Some of those long comments I read, I'm like, damn it, you said nothing. But some people they comment, and I'm like, you speaking to me. You see, if I read a long ass comment and you make sense, I promise I'm never upset. That's right. Shiva Maru are both destruction. Yeah, she manifests after Maru. She was all destruction attribute. Oh, I just think that I think Shiva's too important to not have some type to not be in the story. I hope that maybe
It is.
if anything, in some weird define night or whatever, maybe we get something. But it is something that I guess I gotta make sure I gotta check my own issue on that and not disregard Shiva solely because I'm not going to properly see Shiva explored in the story the way that I want. Doesn't mean I can disregard their importance. So I gotta keep that in mind. That's a me thing though. A lot of this I just saw the people in Reddit Discord and remember it because I liked it. LOL. No, fair enough.
Hmm.
I gotta start. The only reason why I honestly, if I'm being transparent, I probably would lurk a lot of Kubera threads and areas a lot. The only reason I don't because I know a lot of people read the Raws. And one time when I fully dived in, I got spoiled like 3 seconds in on something that happened like a Nata 8, and I was like not even there yet. So that's so I have to be wary kind of. I'm always scared. I'm always scared to like poke my head in and see something I don't want to see because I like to be surprised and get like I can't enjoy a story the same if I know what's going to happen. Personally speaking, did I ever tell you the Breaking Bad story with me?
Nah.
It's nothing really crazy. I just didn't watch it. The 5 years it's 5 seasons, right? 6 seasons.
I think 6 sounds about right.
So the 6 years or 7 years, if you will, that it was airing, never watched it. But everybody that I know from work, from school, friends, family, whatever the case is, they all watched it. And they'd ask me, "Oh, like, do you care?" I'm like, "No, go ahead, talk about it. I don't really care." And as a result of that, they spoke about that series around me intensely for years, to the point when I was ready
I've been
to
trying to catch
finally
this
give it
nigga
a
for
chance. Yeah,
years.
but by the time that I was ready and I started watching, got to season 2, anytime certain things would happen, I'd remember a conversation about it. So because I already knew what was going to happen, there was no suspense for me, and I couldn't enjoy the story. Despite me thinking, for what I've seen, I don't think Breaking Bad is awful. I think it's good, solid for what I saw. But I can enjoy a story where I know what's going to happen already, unless there's like a caveat or twist to it, or that's not the point of the story. So, for example, Zodiac War or Junie Tyson, you always know who the next kind of death is going to be based on certain things. But the story to me isn't about the suspense of who's going to win in the death like that. The point that Nishio Ishin was trying to capture was something else, in my opinion. So, anyways, yeah. You need to be careful of spoilers. Yeah, I know. Yeah, a lot of people read Raw, so it's just like I want to, but I want to be able to give you guys authentic live reactions, or else I would. So it is what it is, though. But I am careful. I'm very vigilant. I'm mindful. More things. Question me with more things. More things.
Okay. Before I get into a big one, I'm gonna ask this simple question because we're kind of on it. After the Cataclysm, okay, did people that were triple Shiva or triple Vishnu, did they just get auto corrected to triple Marut and triple Ashvin, like how chaos kind of went to nil. Like, so if Talith, like, was Talith ruined triple Shiva before the Cataclysm?
Sorry, I didn't know that chaos and nil were different.
I
thought
think.
they were.
I think they're the
I
same.
thought there were different translations for the same thing. Personally, I don't. I could be off on that. I mean, I could just check. I guess it's 21st century. Sorry, repeat that.
The way I took it with the chaos, at least, is like, it's not that like it's gone, but like it is gone. Like I took Neil as nothing because I don't think they can even do any form of magic. Right? Yeah, I don't think. No, Teo can't do any form of magic. That's why she is a pure fighter. But she can do a barrier.
She has transcendentals too, right? Yeah, so chaos / nil, it says here. Main god Kali, Sora clan Karaka, first month, blah blah blah. Darkness, resurrection, creation, wind, light, fire, water, sky, earth, destruction, death. So yeah, it says chaos / nil here.
Okay.
Let's see notes, resurrection, destruction at the gods. So no. Sorry, you have a point here. After Kali's disappearance, the chaos attribute was replaced with the nil attribute in the human calendar. Okay.
And the people in the chat are saying it was auto-corrected. I guess Elaine, Rand's aunt, was originally triple Vishnu, and she's triple Ashva now. Okay. And that's such a downgrade. I feel bad for them.
So you think chaos? I guess I'm with you because chaos and like nil are not synonyms.
Yeah.
Like if you had like attribute chaos / like disorder or something, I probably would, like chaos and nil are not similar. Nil, like you said, could be like a nothingness, like nothing, no moo.
That would also explain why they're so resistant to magic. It's kind of like, I don't know, like kind of like magic black holes in a sense. Because Teo with triple Neo is 99% resistant to all magic and transcendentals.
Let's talk about, hold on, there's actually a little bit of a passage here. I don't know how this can be trusted, but I'll read it here. It says, sometimes in the past, Kali, the only god with the chaos attribute, disappeared and chaos magic disappeared with it. For this reason, the chaos attribute was replaced by the nil attribute. Having nil attributes result in a higher rate of failure in casting spells. In the finite, I remember this, Ayan Rojaf was rejected from all magic academies because of her double nil attributes. Children born with triple nil attributes are extremely rare since such babies are often stillborn. Tio Rakan and Kaz Les are two rare survivors, and they both have terrible magic abilities. Tio, however, is a very skillful fighter and has been shown to be successful in using chaos silent magic. Kaz is also suspected of passively using chaos silent magic to be able to survive the hit by his childhood friend Kubera Lees. The chaos barrier in Kali Bloom, unlike other barriers, is activated with the mere presence of a person with triple nil attributes within the barrier range without the use of vigor. Tio Rakan is the priest of chaos for this reason. So,
man, Kaz was unconsciously using magic to not get fucking folded at 4 years old.
Yeah, it's just kind of crazy. So yeah, all right, good. That's I'm gonna look into that and talk about that. That's gonna be when I start making the lore videos talking about magic and suras and different clans and everything like that. That's definitely something I'm going to make sure I focus heavily on, the nil and chaos thing. They got nerfed. What are my favorite manga, like just in general? Wandering Amanon, Crows, Daiwa Gelder, One Piece, Gintama, Madaka Box, Sundome, Aku no Hana, Good Ending, stuff like that. I'll just post my shit in the chat. Let me save me some time. Where's my list? Okay, hit us with another one though.
Hold on, I'm getting this because these are like 4 in like kind of a row. Because this is like a Nada stuff. This is like a Nada and Lee stuff.
And that link I posted has my my top 30 manga as of 2020. If you care to see that, I gotta do that stream someday. Go do the stream with this.
Okay. Well, before I get into the Inada stuff, I'm curious. Okay. Well, let me just get a few like quick ones out the way. I didn't realize this. Agni's also from the past universe, like Kubera. I don't know if he remembers it though, but he is from the previous universe. I just thought that was interesting.
Okay.
Do we think it's weird that ancient Brilith didn't like really recognize present day Maruna? Or is it like it's so long ago that like it makes sense?
Refresh my memory. Was that it was one life specifically, right?
Two.
Twos. You think it think
And it was her
it-
blonde one.
it's just
and her-
overwritten by the fact of you're right, because there was the one and then there's the one that like he's like I'm not trying to buy anything from you because
Yes.
of the rite of passage, the age of the coming of age ceremony stuff. Okay, fair enough. I think ultimately because of where her like actual heart lies and most of her lives where her heart lies with Agni and stuff like that, I can see why Kurrigan would have made a decision like that. I think to just completely not recognize them maybe at all any capacity is strange, but there could be some weird shenanigans going on with her body right now that we don't know about, where it doesn't have full access to all memories of all lives, something like that. So there could be something going on there that's a factor there, but I never thought about it honestly. But you know, Agni out. Chest out is lit. Kurrigan said Brilith doesn't remember Maruna because it was too long ago. Okay.
That's fair. Well, it still would have been nice, but maybe that's just hopeful wishing in a full world of Kubera. So let me see. Okay, this before we so this let's start off with this question. Do you think that Lise or Ash is the unborn child of Brilith and Agni?
You're asking me if I think either or, not necessarily.
Yes. Oh, I mean, if you think another one altogether.
No.
Yeah,
My point is like
means.
you're not telling me to say like definitively it's Lise, definitively it's Asha. Just the possibility exists. I think.
Yes. Yeah, I'm saying if you had to choose which one do you think it is? Who?
I personally think there's like if you ask me in my like headcanon-y theoretical brain, I for some reason in my head it would be Lise because I think it would throw such a conundrum into her bloodline and stuff like that. But her looking like Rao and having some of the commonalities and overlaps that she have with Rao, I think are too hard for me to just dismiss rationally right now, present time, without me theorizing crazy. So I think Asha would be the child, if I had to choose one of the two. But I think it's probably a more interesting from a storytelling standpoint if it's the other way around.
See, here's a crazy thing. I think so I'm gonna explain why I thought it was Lise, but I don't think it is anymore after I completed my reread. So I thought it would be Lise because Brilith's child was cursed just like Brilith, right? So all the concept of misfortune and all the things that Brilith had to go to because of being cursed by so many gods remains with the child, right? So Lise and Asha both have that part of being like having really terrible lives, right? So you could argue Lise is fake because it's given by Asha's, and Asha's was truly terrible from like start to finish. Which actually I just thought of, so it might be more so Asha.
Life was supposed to be good until Asha's
supposed to be good.
Okay. I see.
So actually, I think that actually gives more. I think that actually gives more credence to Asha. Actually, I'm that. Yeah, but I thought because Kubera was the only god that gave his blessing to that child, I thought that would be a good connection as to why Kubera and Lise have the connection in present day. Plus, this could be me reaching, but I felt that Lise always really had like an instant connection with Agni and ancient Brilith, not present day Brilith, but ancient Brilith off bat. Where Agni is kind, But Agni showed a strong, like, I don't want to say love, but a lot of care for Lise when he first met her. He was like, there's a lot that he did. And even Ancient Brilith, where Ancient Brilith literally hated everybody, but when she met Lise, she's like, you remind me of my past, like, comrades. And I feel like those connections with those three characters leans towards Lise, but I feel like the way in which the curses work, it
That could be the
tends
red
towards
herring.
more Asha.
If anything,
Yeah.
maybe it's the red herring.
Plus, I think it would be even more ironic because Asha's the one that killed Greshfin Brilith. And I think that would be a really interesting tie-in to the mother if Asha's the child and all the trauma and pain that she inflicted on Brilith, if that connection was there. And another reason why I don't think it's Lise is because from what I've seen, and we're going to get into because I have a lot of notes on this, I do think Lise actually has a Nata soul.
Okay.
So I think it might be Asha. Even though I think there might be more points to Lise.
Asha,
but I think it's Asha.
I have a question. In The Weight of Time 5, Vishnu talks about Chandra, about characters that give him hope for the future, and there's a white panel showing them all. Do you recognize them all? Well, let's take a gander. In the meantime, hold on. Kurigam said that was a good one. It has to be Asha. That'll explain why Brilith is so attached to Asha. Okay. I think it's Asha. Relationship with Brilith makes me think that. The thing about Brilith letting Asha kill her in the bed with Vishnu without calling Agni is a strong argument for her too. You should also remember that some of the fifth Xans also passed on the blessing to the child. To be frank, everyone was attracted to Asha in season 1, even neglecting Brilith for Lise. I do think there's a solid chance of that being the case. Okay, so I'm gonna look at The Weight of Time 5 after Vishnu and Chandra talk about characters that give them hope for the future, and we'll see what I see there. In the meantime, Myles, you can continue. What is that? Is that look? As I search.
Okay, wait. Yeah, let me get rid of there's a lot, and I'm moving things around so they make sense as we speak.
Weight of Time.
So my first point as to like the soul thing is this, right? Lenny has Arivada's soul, right? Gnostikas, when they die, they're supposed to go to the Zero Realm, where their name and their soul are split away from each other and basically grinded. It seems like not to dust, but like to shreds and like scattered. Yet Arivada, who is a Gnostica, has her soul reincarnate. Now you may ask, well, what's the difference in the way in which Arivata disappears and every other Gnostica that dies? Arivata got hit by the name-changing spear, where she wasn't killed, but she was auto-corrected. So her name was taken, but I think just because she actually wasn't accurately killed, her soul could then reincarnate. And the reason why I say that is the same thing happened to Anata. And this is why I say that. Kubera has a name-changing spear. That is his spear. They look alike. There's been mention of, doesn't that look like Kubera's spear? Kubera takes the spear from Arivata in D1000 when he fights her with Yama and everybody. The spear is used in D500 with Anata's name, which would make sense because Anata would let him use it on it. His will to be gone is taken. And it explains why Anata and Kubera's name are combined and connected when it's attached to someone like Lise.
Okay. I like that.
So because he didn't actually die, his soul could then reincarnate, which I think is Lise, because we said it, and multiple people in the chat said it. Lise and Anata have disgustingly similar personalities. And they have a very similar trajectory of how we first see them as these carefree, happy-go-lucky people with just really powerful strength to their comrades, to becoming crushed by the weight of the world around them, to like becoming time warriors. There's a lot of overlay.
There is tons. Stay there though.
And then
time warriors, overlap, all that, the Lee stuff. So from this picture, I think who I'm seeing is it looks to me like Agni, maybe. I think that's that's probably Kubera. I think that's Anata. You said the one on the left could be Sagara. I definitely think it's a girl. I think this one in the front looks like Brilith. It kind of looks like it has the Jabril little thing on there, and whoever is kind of in between, maybe Kubera, and if that's is that Ran actually. It's hard for me to tell who they all are, but I think for the most part, the 10 main characters, I guess, of the story probably play some a very important part and give hope for the future for the best possible timeline and everything. What's the other question you asked after that? Sorry. Everybody was an Asha. Do you think the one on the left is Sagara? I actually wouldn't put it past Sagara being extremely important for the best possible outcome if it is her, solely due to the fact that I think that she has to kind of internalize the message, the theme, and what Anata truly wanted from her, not to just chase after him and make him the king. I think if she could truly understand his feelings and emotions, what she went through, she can become a pretty good king, all things considered. But right now, I don't think she gets that yet. Yeah, Lee's is not a soul connected to Kubera. I think the not calling Agni was in season 3, episode 138. By the way, right in the beginning of the episode where Asha is taunting Brilith. Sagara's taunting the spear. What did Vishnu see in Sagara? Just that she. I feel like it's probably just like she's important for the thing. I don't know if she saw like, oh, she's gonna give us hope and be a great person. I don't know if that's it. I don't know. Depends on what you think. That's the panel. The soul set from the Nance interesting. I see Sagara actually being a great king. She can move on from now. Oh, shit. There you go. And the one on the right might be male Manaka. Looks similar. Maybe two front left. Tio. As he leads, Ran, Sagara, Kalavinka. Sagar probably gets an arc focus on her upper head. It's possible. Okay, so we were talking
I don't think she will.
Sagara?
I think she'll always just be the background person doing stuff.
That's fine.
That's just me.
So, yeah, time stuff, Lee's.
Yeah, so that's their personality. It also explains why the I think that's red herrings as to why the resurrections always fail, because there's one point where Kubera literally disappears. And she's like, it's done, but Asha could still mess with it with Hoti Vishnu, where I genuinely think like it wouldn't have worked anyway because his soul wasn't there because she has it. Anata outright tells Ran, this is when Ran has his like the arm to his chest at the beginning of Abyss, right? He says, I'm going to reincarnate. Like, I'm going to. But I don't think he's talking about himself. That's the shedding, because the shedding isn't his soul, which he specifically states. It's something else. It's his will. Like I think he meant his actual soul. Okay. Yes. Where he's saying, I will reincarnate. And he said, it's something about like how it's going to right his wrongs and how he will be like the crime, like he's the like amalgamation of the crying voices and sins of the world, which I think goes a lot with Kubera's like what she has to deal with. And I think because she has the soul, she would inadvertently have sins and other things attached because she has an added stuff, which would explain why if Asha is the child of Brilith, why she still has the bad luck attached to her. And that could explain her bad luck like life. It will also explain her personality. And we know she has the time powers eventually, because when she helps Maruna multiple times, she's doing the time shit her outright self, which is only something Kali, Vishnu, and Anata does, because they're represented as the time. And I think this is lastly, yeah, I think that's kind of how it is. My questions would still be like, I guess the specifics of the name giving, which we might get at the end of this, because like, I think because Kubera used his spear and took on Anata's name, that fucked him up, and that's probably what caused his name to shatter, because he took that name. Because this is a weird thing, and maybe this is me, but in present day, I don't think Kubera has his name, the god Kubera, like at all. It's gone.
No, I think his name some weird nameless wandering backup vagrant.
Yes. Which I didn't think about, because he literally, whenever he's mentioning, he's like, I don't have, he literally says, I don't have a name, but just call me Mister. And it's so weird, because I didn't think much about that. I thought he was just being like cryptic, because he's a cryptic dude. But I genuinely think with the taking of Anata's name and the power of it, it fused with his name, but also just shattered it. So I think like it's kind of like if you took his name and chopped it up into 100 parts and scattered it, one remaining part kept the part that's attached to Anata. So it's kind of like a Russian roulette, and Lee's just got lucky to get that Anata Kubera name. Because I always was curious when talking about it, like, why both Lee Kubera and Anata's name? What's the connection here? And if it's because you use the name Spear on his friend that allowed him to, it would make sense as to why she got both of them. Now, the curious part is, did he hold on to the name and specifically give it to Lise when he, because as we know, Anne or Raul gave that name to her, right? So did Kubera have a play on that before? But it's weird because I can't remember if it was season 2 or 3. Kubera literally says there's nothing special about her. She's an ordinary girl. So it seems like she got the name by pure luck. You know what I mean? So there's just a lot there.
So the question you have to ask is if he's telling the truth when he says that, and she isn't, and it's really like you said, luck and extraordinary circumstances that cause her to acquire certain things like the soul and the name and X, Y, and Z, and then that's when she stops being ordinary because she's obviously not ordinary.
Yes,
obviously, and we have dramatic irony on our side. They don't have that, you know. Well, I mean, I don't know. They got insight, but it's a good. It's that's interesting to think about. I wish I remembered that part of certain parts as well as you do, with a refresh, but.
But I mean, yeah.
I'm sorry. Here's what I'm gonna say. I think some of this depends on how you see the flow of the grand design of the universe. By which I mean this, right? Okay. Let's say all things considered, things were supposed to happen the way they were supposed to, which means Asha doesn't do anything to mess with Lisa's life. Ordinary girl, you think?
I see.
Yeah. All right. No, see. I get it. It's not that simple. I know. Go ahead.
Because from what we know, with this time stuff, Ran is the reason Lisa's given the name because he tells Raul, "Don't forget about your daughter. Do it for your daughter Kubera Lise, who isn't born yet." And he's probably like, "Who?" So in his mind, he's thinking, "Oh, I have to name her Lise, not Kubera Lise."
Okay.
And it's like, did Kubera himself step down and give that portion of the name to him to allow it to do it because Anne actually has met and knows who Kubera is? So it seems like that would preclude anything of Asha, right? It would have to. So I would assume she has the name. But again, it's one of those weird things of like, would she reach her full potential because she doesn't have someone to hate? And since Asha's not killing Kubera, she wouldn't be as strong.
That's why I kind of say, like, all things considered, there isn't that this disturbance. Maybe she becomes a really good and competent fighter. Maybe takes up, where Raul was and gets to neutral bow and things like that. But like, is mostly an ordinary girl. I think with Asha kind of usurping her future, it turns her into a very tragic character who is very ordinary in a lot of ways, but. I don't know if you want to call it fate, luck, destiny, or something. I do think something along the lines of caused that the word I want to use is secondary natural flow, where with Asha's usurping of Lisa's future, it caused a different flow to overwrite the original one, and something happened to give Lise the power to fight back against that. I guess they're having an awful life. That's kind of how I see it. I don't know if it's the gods, the Primevals, the universes itself, Anata's will doing this. Or maybe I don't know if Anata was like time traveling and maybe or whatever and saw something through her, but in his final days, and that's why he decided he wants his soul to reincarnate her. I don't know. There's a lot of ways you can go with this. That's another question I'll keep in mind when I'm revisiting. I think there's some other reason for naming Lise other than Rand, because there was also that rule of using the name until she was 16. Oh yeah, that's true.
But to be fair, we don't know this can go into another question because we don't know at what degree or point this Kubera war started, right? And I'll explain why I say that. I was under the impression Kubera killings are only because of Asha, which starts in Cart N5, right?
Mm.
That doesn't seem to actually be the case.
No, that's not true. Yeah.
Yeah. And the reason why I say that is because this was recent, right? Lila and Jabril fight each other. And this is in the same year that Cart's destroyed. And Lila's talking about how we can work together and we could beat them, in quotes, which I can only assume to be other Kuberas. And Jabril's like, there can only be one, like it's the Jet Li movie. And it's like, so has there been this war this entire time? Because Lila got the Oracle and N0 at the Cataclysm from Chandra about hiding your name. And I'm thinking, oh, that's for future Asha. But maybe that was just outright for like this war that's been going on since Kubera's name's been shattered.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's also one of those things of like, I feel like you could use arguments for both sides because Jabril got Kubera herself as her god. So did he also give her an oracle? Maybe that's not pertaining to like some old Kubera war, but future stuff that they just have to get prepared for. So maybe all these older Kuberas just know Ash is just going to do something stupid because of oracles. And that's why they're doing this stuff. And that's why I'm just like, I don't know the full scope of this stuff. Like that to me is hard. I don't know.
I hear you. You mean her mother raising her as a sacrifice if you want to go dark? I think her mother wanted her to survive actually, but we can't be sure until we get the leads or Kurigan promised. God, there's so much going on with this series, but you gotta love it.
Yeah, we'll talk about the ant stuff.
You got to
later.
Yeah, I was gonna say, did you want to save any for me and Glam?
No, fuck Glam. He can watch the video, and if he has questions, he can always just re-ask. Because if he just watches it, we can just re-ask what. Like, it's not that. Well, I'm deleting him as we go, but he can read the thing. But,
send them to me. The questions
okay.
to me.
I'm gonna have to undo a lot of stuff. Okay, I already deleted.
Never mind. It's okay. I do that when I go through my notes too. And we're doing if I have my show notes as we talk about topics, I delete them myself. But I told you I write stuff down. I'm old school. I don't.
Yeah, that's true. Glam did ask me to ask 2 questions, which actually go into like this question I am going to ask because this is Tio stuff. Okay. He says, "What was the way for Tio to get her old soul back that Ari suggested?" I reread it, but it's weird because I don't think we ever got an official thing for it. Like, we know Tio got the info to do it, and I thought that's what she was going to do. But she actually just seemingly never uses it, and the only reason why her old soul went back is because Minaka just hard carried in the afterlife and literally just carried Tio's soul back to her original body. And she didn't use it, so we don't know.
No, it's a good
yeah.
I don't know what the method is. Ultimately, things worked out the way it was, but I actually think that we'll learn what it is at some point. Cause I think it's probably important. Because how much more of the past do you think we're going to explore? Like, not even starting like right now, but just in general. Is that what I think? I think Ashu brought up. We have explored like none of N0.
Yes.
I don't know if you think we ever will explore that because I'm with you. But only because Kurigam said that this arc is this kind of coming to an end. So I think when we kind of go back to the present, we'll focus on it for a while. We're not going to jump around too much. So damn, I lost my train of thought. We started with what?
Some about Tio, but to continue this train of thought, because I agree with you.
Yeah.
Go on. I agree with you. I think we are going to get N0. I think we're going to get. After these guys go back, we're going to get a little bit left of the Lees and Kubera and her parents' interaction in the village. Whether that's a chapter or 2, I don't know. I think we're going to get that to finish off because there's still things in N5 that we have to get answers on. I don't think she'll leave us hanging. But I think once we go back to the present...
It's related to the Do Not Resurrect list? Sorry, keep going.
You put her name on it after, but I think we're going to do the present stuff for a while, right? And then I think things are going to happen where maybe Lise fights Asha, but there has to be a point where Lise goes back and does the time stuff, where she helps Maruna out. She sees Yuta. That stuff. So we know we go back. I think when we get like Lise's arc of this stuff, I don't think it's going to be as like in depth of like all these super past interactions like them. But I think we're going to get N0 through Lisa's eyes. I think we're going to get the catechism.
I like that.
Jesus.
The
Through it, her eyes.
It has something to do with putting her name on the Do Not Resurrect list. Claude said that means you deny the magic that brought you back with a different soul. Okay. End of the day, we got Tio back where she belongs, and I don't whether it's Shukadala, Manaka, Ganhava, or anything to do with that family and bloodline, just throw it away. I don't want it. He explains it to Leeds in this episode. Kubera, Leeds, and Nata name reveal. I think okay.
Yeah, it's chapter 157, I believe, because he explains it as putting your name on the Do Not Disturb list means like you kind of have like things you still want to do in life, but if it's the person that does it after you've already been resurrected, it means that you don't accept the life that you were given. And it was like a really philosophical thing. But I don't remember him specifically saying by virtue of doing that, you're guaranteed to re-get your soul back if you die. But it would make sense if that was the case, because that's why she goes to Lila and specifically fights her to die. So it would make sense if that's the case.
Yeah.
Because that's what Glam's second question is, why did Tio attack Lila and not tell Ari she was going to do that? Where I think it's Ari would have stopped her, and if she's going to have to die to get her soul back, she wants to do it on her own terms, where she was like, she still felt a little jaded with the Lila stuff, where she's like, I want to fight this fighter for beating me. And as I told Glam this, Lila didn't need Chandra in the Sands. After what I saw her do with Jabril, she was rocking Tio either way.
That tournament, man.
Yeah. And that goes to this part, right? So this is the weird thing, Naya.
Mm-hmm.
We know Callie when Callie brings Lee's back to the past, right? And Lee goes off and fights Maruna. Callie sees Ganhara weeping over Tio's body, possesses Hora, and tells him how to keep her body alive for the Hoti Vishnu spell. We know Callie gave Tio the Manaka Taraka soul and like basic soul. Why?
Chaos.
I took it as like it helps with the Anata revival. I think I had a reasoning why. I can't remember why, but it's some way in which helped with the Natsu's revival. I just don't know like the specifics of how. I think I did, and I low-key forgot.
You think he's getting
But that's one of those
revived?
things I don't know if we've still been for sure. Anata?
Yeah, like I don't think he's getting revived. Okay.
In the prologue of season 3, we see Lee's fight it seems like a possessed version of Anata. So I don't know if we're gonna get I don't know if we'll ever get Anata.
That's really
but
what
we'll
I meant.
get.
I got you.
Yeah. We'll get lingering.
Manaka Soul was a candidate
That's
for Anata's resurrection. So was Rand's. Remember that?
Oh, that is right. That's why. Okay, I think. Okay. I don't think I remembered Manaka's part, but I remember Rand's because I remember Rand. I remember Musaha. And again, this is my next one. We don't know who's in Rand's son's bodies yet. We don't know who the twins have.
I think there was one of them had a very obvious. I think one was Saha, wasn't it?
Anne has Saha, the oldest.
Oh, okay. She's with the twins.
She was one that cried when she was talking to Lorraine.
Yeah. No, that. Man, I think of the wrong. I actually don't remember the kids' names like that. But I with the twins. So
I think it's canon 10. It's like like they do the twin stuff where it's like like they rhyme with each other.
Yeah. When she fights Lila, she says that
I think it's
resurrecting her with her should lead to disaster. Stop Ganhara from getting the possibility to be enlightened or weaken Taraka to pass on kingship. Wait. Stop going Harvard, man. Kill him. Don't drown him. That's the only way. Yeah, look at the Lakers. Y'all stink.
Possible? I'm trying to think because they said you have to die relatively close, right? Because Anne was born like a year or two after Saha died. That's why the soul's reincarnated.
Mm-hmm.
But do we know anybody that died at like end of season 2 that could be possessing his twins that matter? I don't think so.
I would have to kind of see if, I guess, kind of somewhat look at them again. I remember them at the beginning of the season, and when Moran froze a bunch of stuff and accidentally froze his legs and everything. I'll have to see if any of the things, any of their mannerisms remind me of any characters or Suros or something of the sort. I can't pull off the top of my head right now. People
I can't either.
But that's a good thing to think about. But when you brought up Ranch kids, I remember one obviously being Saha. But I guess I didn't remember the twins. Are there any other twins? When some twins we're not thinking about?
No.
It's Clush and Cluffy. They're not twins. I guess they're just siblings. I don't know.
Yeah, and Clush is older. The boy's older, but he just can't. He just took forever to. This just kind of goes back because I just remember some of these photos I should have looked at. But this is just for the Inata Leaves thing too. Claude's cards are really weird because he has 3 cards that he looks at Asha and he's like, "You lost," and he puts down 3 cards, right? Mm-hmm. And it's the Immortal card, the Inata card, and the Sword of Re card, which to me just represents Lee's. Mm-hmm. So I think that was just Kurigam like showing off Rip that like Lee's is gonna have like kind of Immortal because of the bracelet, Anata's name, and the sword. And then
you just made me think of something, but keep going.
And then when he's talking to Sierra, he throws down cards and he's like, and Claude leaves, and it's the Madman, the Nastica, and the Immortal, which completely means to me Gandhi, because Gandhi is considered like the immortal one, and he's crazy at this point because that's right when like I think Gandhi loses his mind. And then Asha's cards are the Knight, the Victim, and we don't see the third thing. So I'm curious as to what that is. But like that's just, things for the future.
Yeah, that's hard to say. I do think that it's probably do you think it's a completely new card we haven't seen yet, or do you think it's one of the cards that we've seen with other people, we just don't know which one is going to be applicable to her third one?
I don't think we've seen it yet.
Okay. Because I'm trying to think if there's a card that I'm trying to think of that would be very unique to her. Like it's not coming to me right now, but I think I remember that part. But
yeah, we see the shape, but we don't see the name. The shape just looks like a black dot. So I don't know if it's like a black hole or like nothingness or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's hard.
What kind of came to my brain in a second? Remember we were kind of talking about I talked about rewriting histories and usurping people's happiness, so to speak. Do you think once Asha failed to kill Lorraine, that gave Lee's a fighting chance again in the universe?
Yes,
that's because I was trying because as soon as you said that, I wonder if that's the moment where she could end up getting the name and all of this X, Y, and Z, and that's what gave her the fighting chances. Because the one thing that I think Vishnu told Asha, remember correctly, was Lorraine can't live, right? And she did. So I just thought that maybe that was the moment, the trigger where the universe was like, well, ordinary child, you now have the capabilities of being extraordinary, so to speak.
Yeah, it did because it gave them all 7 years.
Oh, what was that too?
Yeah, and I don't know what Asha could have done.
Yes.
Yeah.
Black hole, bam. No. And by the
I'm
way,
sorry,
my bad about last week. I went out and I came home, and before I could stream, I knocked out. I was out like a light, bro. I set up everything. My head touched the couch for a second, and when I woke up, it was 4 a.m. I said, "That's crazy," because we're supposed to go up on Wednesday. We're supposed to climb, but this week we'll get it back. But yeah, anything else?
Yeah, I got plenty, bro. Not even. Okay. So this goes back to the Cali thing. Okay. Yeah, we'll do. I think this is my last Cali bit. Okay. I was super excited now. Okay. Because when I was going through Cali, I was like, oh, I figured out her name thing because she took Rautara's mom's name. She's Taraka. Because I wasn't paying attention at all on later stuff. And they tell you in Abyss, like this bar for bar, where it's like, yeah, the reason why Rautara feels a connection, she could be the king of Taraka is because her mother's name's Taraka, and that's the name Cali took. I'm like, oh, fuck. But it explains a lot why she has a connection with the Garuda clan, why she mated with them, because she's literally the name of Taraka. But I did think it's interesting because primevals are exempt from sin, right? They're outside the realm of causality, cause and effect.
Mm-hmm.
Her taking on a Nastica name, though, kind of like dragged her from her like height of primeval and kind of like to like mortalish planes, which is relative. But like I believe I don't think it was Bar like for sure said, but it's heavily implied now. She can now get fucked over and take on Sen. Because Lee's kind of even like inclines towards it where it's like you're losing the power of primeval because you have two names. Like you're destroying yourself. And Callie's like kind of like, you got me, I kind of fucking hate you. Like which then goes into why I think the Eye of Perishment is just her tool of getting rid of her sins and just fucking over people. Which would make sense because sins make people have bad luck. They act as curses. Like when Rautara was killing people, they're like, yeah, the sins of the ancient humans will make it so misfortune is placed on her. So, because of that, we know every Rakshasa and everybody that ever uses the Eye of Perishment has terrible ends. And I think she's using just like her future power in tandem with that to like using her future power to kind of like see in the future which possibilities work so the deals can work. And then like kind of like in a way feeling like in like the way latent force kind of like digs into that power. Like you can use latent force to get like stronger power. She's kind of like bringing your future self into the present and like kind of fusing it with yourself in the way like we see with like when Ran or these guys go through the past and stuff. And her means of doing it and like the effect that it has on the universe, she just forces the sins that she would take onto others as the consequence. And she can do that because she has the power of persuasion, which lets the persuader place all the burdens that they would ever have on the persuaded. So that's just me on how I think the Eye of Perishment works.
I remember you bringing it up kind of before. You fleshed it out more, but I've always liked that idea that she's kind of trying to almost be like, I don't want these. And maybe because she did the name thing, that's the reason why the sins could even get to her. Because she wants to be a primordial, right? So that makes sense to me.
Now, this is the question for you.
Okay.
Do you think the people that use the Eye of Perishment became Tarakas?
Like that's their ultimate fate?
Yes.
I want to say no because that's not a thought that I had. But now that you put it in my mind, I'm like, like, you know, like the girl, she takes a drink. No, it's like she like tilting her head, like, do I like it? Like, I'm literally in that mode right now. I'm gonna say that I it's because there's in this world there's some things that could happen to you beyond death, soul destroyed, or something like that. So I'm gonna go with the yes, honestly. I don't know if every single one though, but I'm gonna go with the yes. Maybe that's like the ultimate punishment they get after the fact, but that's crazy to think about. Does anybody have a theory about Kalavinka? Why Kalavinka is so strong in the clans? Is the clan's name with her? Does she have the name Aruna? We spoke about her strength earlier, but I never considered her actually somehow getting his original name Aruna. I don't think she has it, even though I know they all use kind of aliases, right? Because I think
Yeah.
one alias Utah had was Jatayu, but Jatayu was that pink haired girl or whatever the fuck. That I just seen her. I remember it's like some little girl or something like that. But
She doesn't have the name Maruna because they specifically mentioned that if no one has at least equal proficiency, if not better than Maruna did have with it, they're just gonna kill you.
Okay. There you go. That's what happened with Sympathy. I don't think so. Those two attack with Paula didn't.
Well, we don't know. We know they died, but I'm saying like we don't know like what happens after they die.
That's kind of what I'm thinking. Like, I'm sure they died terrible deaths, but is there something with the eye of perishment or pledge token where you use it and you certify whatever you do what you gotta do, you die, and like there's some like after death cost of you become this weird Taraka clan slime. I don't know. I wouldn't put it past Kurigam doing that. I guess is why now I'm having a thought. But prior to this, I didn't think that.
And this is why I'm gonna go more into it because I don't think the ancient humans are Tarakas like people think. The ancient, I was wrong. We'll get into it about the Vigor people. The ancient humans actually are explicitly stated to be the Vigor people. Yeah. So I don't think they would beat the Taraka people and the Vigor people. I don't think that makes sense.
They're the Ashes,
but
the losers of the previous,
or
whatever. Sorry, but yeah,
because, so. Yeah, as you said, Symphanti, who took it, became a Taraka. But yet, unlike others, she can kind of go back to her normal form. We saw that before they did the time pass stuff. Because we have to remember there's the Taraka nodes, which use Kali fragments, or Chaos fragments. And the Eye of Perishments are known to be like the pure versions of those. Now, what happens when people have taken the Kali fragments? Sierra turned into a Taraka clan member, remember? And they had to deal with Sierra in that situation. Handra took the Kali fragments and became Taraka-fied, and Lila specifically had to kill him. So we know the Kali fragments or Chaos fragments Taraka-fy people. The Eye of Perishments, which from what we've seen and what Kali was talking about from like recent chapters when Hanuman was explaining it, a lot of Rakshasa have taken them over the millions of years. So if it's a purified version, it would make sense that it can do everything the weaker version can do and then some.
I guess my question, it would make
sense.
No, I like our line of thinking. I guess my question is this how Taraka clan members exist? Do we have an origin for them, like properly? Do we know?
We do not.
Do you think this is some like? Because I'm sure there was like an original subset that existed naturally or in some way, shape, or form. I don't know if because of Kali or whatever, certain things got perverted and changed and it became slime and they're always like that. But I'm trying to wonder if the only way to get new members now is through the pledge tokens.
I think so.
That's interesting to think about. I gotta keep an eye out for that one too.
But we do know chaos things existed. I think Kali probably poached them. Like Peptupalan, she's the only chaos Rakshasa that we have seen on screen. She's the one Yaksha person that Ran was training with for 10 years, remember? And she Ran was fighting her, and then her face literally Taraka-fies and tries to bite her, but that's just what she is because she's a chaos Nastica. And then when Rotara's explaining,
exactly what I was gonna say because Rotara with the blitz tactics, I remember this because we're talking about Maruna's Crimson Sunshine of Dawn. They were known as the Chaos Clan, whatever the case is. Because I'm starting to wonder if Chaos not being around played some role into that. But sorry, keep going.
Because they never had the Chaos Clan when she was around, but she said, I think Chaos is the second most rarest attribute behind creation. There are only 7 Nasticas that have it, 1 per clan. So only 1 Nastica per clan has Chaos attribute, which means that there's less people with creation attributes, Nasticas. But so there's 7. We saw the one for the Yaksha clan. I would believe how it worked. We might not have seen them. Maybe Kali used them and maybe their children. I don't think they have children because it's specified that they don't really reproduce. They care more about eating and they don't even care about their clans. Mm-hmm. So I could see Kali taking them into her own clan, and since she's also chaos, maybe using herself and them as experiments to change other people. So we might still have 7 chaos Nasticas that we've yet to see, or she completely just killed them all and used them as to like scatter fragments to Tarakify like a bunch of others. We don't know. But I think she's probably poached them and taken them under her wing and used them to like help create more clan members. So they would probably be the original members, if you would.
My boy was thinking when he was writing them notes down. He was questioning things.
Oh yes, this is me when I actually try. Okay, this goes to show you when we talk about One Piece and shit. I really do not care.
What's One Piece?
What is that?
Never heard of it.
So that's why I think it's that. And this will go. We can just do this because this is super fast. So remember the blue creatures with multiple eyes that like attack Brilith in the beginning of Abyss.
The bear.
The bear, yes, the deer-owned bear. Okay,
The bears. Say un ours. Yeah, go ahead.
This fucked me up because I didn't realize until this reread I completely missed an entire chapter of the Abyss. I missed Abyss 8.
Or you just did it. That's happened to me with something like I just never read this chapter before. I must have missed it somehow. That happened.
Yes,
that's funny.
So
haven't read it.
In it, they explicitly state the blue things with hella eyes are the losers from the previous universe. They explicitly state it.
Yes.
And they say they fight against the Tarakas. They are different. The Vigor boys aren't the losers. They're the ancient human. Because when they come to Ran, Raltara saves them. And when they're talking to Raltara, they're like, oh, do you remember us? And one of their faces literally changes into the old man that Maruna was like, damn, this guy's stronger than me. And even someone in your comment on the newest thing said the same thing. So, ancient humans are Vigor boys.
Yeah.
Losers are the blue people.
The losers are the bears.
So that's why.
Call them bears.
So that's why, even though yeah, because I know a lot of people think the ancient humans have been Tarakas. That's why I don't think they're the Tarakas, and that's why I think it's the Rakshasas that Kelly's converted, because they all take forms of monsters, not humans. And I don't think Kurigan would have recycled them as both Vigor people and Tarakas when their purpose of the story and what their actual abilities are just completely different. I don't think she would recycle them. So that's why I think they have to be some form of Rakshasas in the stuff that Callie's been doing.
Shit, boy. They said neuron activation. Yeah, he's been thinking. He's making me just want to go just sit down and reread it from start to finish, like right now. Just I really wish I had the time.
Yes. But that's why when we get through this, the video will be there as just an easy access point to always go through all the questions.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now, and I told you, I have a lot, man. I have a lot.
I feel like we could save some, but keep going. I mean,
we could.
This goes as long as I haven't eaten all day, so as long as my hunger is, I could curb my hunger. this is a long we'll keep going. You got like really, you probably got like 15 minutes left before I'm like I need to eat some chicken wings.
This I don't like talking about this because it has to deal with Brahma, and you know how I feel about Brahma. Okay, but so this is my single thing about this bubblegum chewing bastard. Okay, Rama wanted to have Yama summoned to the human realm, and wanted Claude to do it. Missed out on my first read. Don't know why. Like, does she need access to the humans in the underworld? And seemingly Brahma has now switched her pawn from Claude because she removed the Oracle, and now has used Lila as her new pawn. And interesting things to note is Brahma appears as the cheerleader, you know, in that cheerleader form where she has the hood and stuff. You can't recognize her or hear her voice and stuff like that. Which is, I think, canonically the first time it's ever used, like timeline-wise, and like from what we know. She appears that way in Lila's dream and in the actual past. Now,
With the Inception thing, which you went to Claude's mind. I remember that.
yeah.
Okay. That's a good
So-
catch. That's true. Good catch.
So I guess another thing that's interesting is that she must be the one that taught Elaine that summoning method, because all the humans attribute this cheerleading summoning method by Elaine, because Elaine created it. But we know Elaine was with Brahma when she did it, so that means Brahma probably taught her it. So it's like, why did she teach her it? And like, does that mean that everybody who has access to that could be potentially looked at as cheerleaders? Because cheerleaders are the ones that are on the sidelines and want the universe to still destroy. So does that mean that we have a new separate team of Brahma, Kubera, Varuna? Because Kubera even mentions when he's talking to Jabril, hey, she's like, if someone comes back and summons you, if Lila summons you, please accept. He's like, oh, I will. Lila's the superior card. So is this a whole, like, are they a whole ass new team? Is Kubera and Brahma now on the same team as cheerleaders doing something on the sideline? And is Lila their new card? Because I was also thinking about, like, why Lila seems kind of protected and she has a Kubera name, where it's like, oh, is there something really going on here? So it's just kind of like Brahma's play here. I'm just like, I don't know what it is, and that's bothering me.
Can't trust her. There were some weird Tarakas recently, though, so that looked like humans passed through a terrorist barrier during the Kadru fight. Also, the Mecha Acne one. However, one reason to think Tarakas might be ancient humans would be that the turrets don't work with them anymore because the turrets recognize them as humans. Is that true? I don't remember that. Because the turrets only attack Suras and outside attacks. That's from ancient humanity. Do they still have turrets? I think they still had some.
I have to completely remember when that was, even though I just read. Can you please be specific when that happened? Because I don't know if that's also the Tarakas just nullifying people's magic because they're magically powered.
I don't remember the statement of the turrets not attacking them because you did. I remember the turrets really being a thing when we were exploring the way to town with the ancient humans. I think they had like a bunch of artillery around their cities instead of the barrier. I think the barrier is a new thing, if I remember correctly. I could be wrong. Honestly need to reread this.
Barriers are new.
This is definitely giving me like, you need to go refresh your memory, my guy.
Oh, he's saying during the Kadru fight, so that's when Kadru was Kadru's the dragon that Tasaka and Chandra fought. Weird Tarakas were there. I don't remember if there was weird Tarakas because Kadru fought, but I genuinely can't remember if that was because like they just blocked it out with their eyes or not.
Or Lila wasn't a
so I would have to go back.
She wanted to steal. That's the season 3, episode 141 with the Tarakas passing the barriers. I mean, I'll pull it up.
Okay, I'll take your word for it then, Pantaga. I'll believe you if you say it.
When Chandra comments on the turrets not attacking Tarakas, he says, what are they evolving into? Okay.
I believe that, but I guess then my question is, like, if their baseline was human, that means that they would have worked at some point. Like, because they wouldn't be evolving into more human, or like if they were ancient humans and they wouldn't work, I feel like they would have to have worked at any point of them, regardless of how strong they were, right? It wouldn't change irregardless of that, right?
Like evolving wouldn't matter. Like human is human.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah, like you're not evolving into more human for it to not work on you.
So 141. That's separation. 41 season 3. So I think it's this one. Let's see. If I cancel my summoning, return to the God realm, I can avoid being eaten. But using the this is fragments, blah blah blah. What am I looking for again? The Taraka passing the barrier. There we go. That's what I was looking for. Give it a shot. Tio, blah blah blah.
No.
Wait. Okay. It's okay. So hold on. I'll put it on screen. Sorry. But I thought it was on screen already. My bad, guys.
Wait, what?
No, I was just gonna show the ones. Well, I guess what we're looking for is for any weird looking Taraka. I guess would be what we're doing. Or
No, this can't be real. This can't be real life.
Okay, so
No.
well, what?
I think I just deleted everything by accident.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Well, I
I genuinely, I don't.
I don't even know how you're doing this, and I'm bad with technology, but you don't want to put a
Oh
picture
no,
of me
no.
to make
Okay,
a
I'm
picture
good.
in the
I'm good.
planet.
I'm
I
good.
said that you're gonna be the president, or whatever. Focus on the screen. Wait, some of them got through the barrier. What? Look over there. That's inside the barrier, isn't it? I guess he's kind of look humanoid, and like they're bleeding out their eyes. I suppose. Surro's invading the city to come through the barrier. Why aren't the turrets operating? Damn it! When the portal closed, I thought we were almost safe. So I guess the turret's not operating. That's the line there. Blah blah blah. Where's Chandra? Is Chandra's line here too or no? That's a Valley Misty Shard. Nope. Okay. Cool. Leo. Did you got anything else? What's on the paper?
I got like 15 things. So if you want, we could just.
Yeah, you can do one more. That's content. I can that could be a stream tomorrow, bro. Tomorrow's stream.
Okay.
What's up? It's content.
Okay, because I'm just trying to go through because I think some things are things, but I still think there's enough. And if Glam's here, we can still have Glam talk about stuff. Because I don't know if it's. Let me try and see. Because I do have quite a bit of Abyss stuff, so that can wait. Okay, I'll just do this as my last one. Okay, no, I'll do this. I'll do the Lee's village because things might change by next time we'll see. Okay. Lee's village was destroyed, right? Red sky, 0 deaths on scanner. Okay, and was stated to be killed in N5 by Clary.
I am listening. I'm just gonna tinkle, but I'm listening. Keep going.
Okay. Now, there's thoughts of people thinking that Lee's village never existed, and that things were kind of just fake pseudo like illusion stuff. It is possible that Kubera the god used a mental transcendental on Lee's, Cass, and Highs that allowed them to operate in this fake village this entire time. And I say that because when Lee's Ran and Maruna go to Conchas and they go in the underground area to find Callie, the mental transcendental hits all 3 of them, and it's implied that the one that did that on them was actually Kubera that was hidden away. And they specifically state it could have been him. He has a mental transcendental that he rarely uses. Mm-hmm. And the memory that Kubera feels in that mental transcendental is literally when she's summoning him and she holds him and says, don't do anything. I'll still take on the thing or whatever. And that same thing is referenced in Abyss when she does it. So there's obviously a strong connection there. And I think him choosing that mental transcendental was specific. So I think it's possible that if the village is destroyed and Anne is killed, as we see later on, he may have put her in a fake illusion this entire time, which would explain the 0 deaths.
I do think that it was some weird type of illusion in some way, shape, or form. It's so hard to pinpoint it and put your exact finger on it, but that's kind of like along the lines that I've been thinking. But it's not. It's people's in the comments and stuff who question that who made me think about it more in depth. Because at first I thought maybe it was just one. I don't know. I don't have to think at first, but that makes sense.
Yeah, I didn't either.
But I think that's a good stopping point. They got a lot to listen to. We could save the other ones for another day. But you're gonna final words for the people. You can finish. Actually, no, let's do one more, last one.
No, I was just saying. I think there's still a good amount. I was just checking, making sure.
What did
We did
you
go through.
what did you gain a greater appreciation for when you revisited it? Like what like it doesn't have to be a specific moment or scene or character necessarily. It could just be like she's really good at humor or something like that. Like is there anything you appreciated more in the second read?
How much it seems like she genuinely cares.
About writing a good story, right?
Not even like writing a good story. I think just like I think there's a good play of like you can tell like that she genuinely enjoys her work, but at the same time of like this is something I genuinely, if I'm going to do it, but I'm doing it the right way.
Okay.
Because of the amount of effort that you can tell she puts in everything. Like even when she's having fun, it's so purposeful. There's always a sponge of like dialogue that's like, maybe here. And even things of like relationships that you don't think about that just exist. Like when we in like the recent chapter when we saw like the one dude that has Teo's eyes, that's like a Nastica probably, or like a Rikaka, that was talking to Tatia. That's probably her ancestor. And maybe we won't get anything on him, but like I think it shows that she even does designs with a purpose. Like everything is there. She cares.
It's an attention to detail that I would argue that a lot of Eastern storytellers, especially in the webtoon and manga sphere, could be a little lax on, because I do think generally, because a lot of fans are not going to pick up on that, are very forgiving. Because this is going to sound really stupid, but just bear with me. If you create your own universe and world with its own religions and characters and lore, world building, yada yada, and the character says something as simple as "Oh my God," I actually take that very seriously, because you're saying that the deity of God, whether you think it's the Christian version, whatever the case is, exists in this world.
I agree.
Where if someone's like, "Oh my agony" or something, like, like I could, what I'm saying, like that makes like there isn't a God above God necessarily. So like I think she pays attention to small stuff like that, which goes a long way for someone like me who actually cares about storytelling and writing. So I hear you. Shout out to the Patreon gang. Shout out to my certified BAM lovers. I appreciate y'all. Gotta show love to the Priests of Fire. You already know what's Brilith gang over here. But I gotta give a huge thanks to my tier 3 subscribers, the 5th Zen Gods. Shout out to Zodiac, Sunny Katapali, Simi, Scobe, Revenant, Lucky Roo, Lazy Dragon, Chris, Johnny Rogers, Irene Sharda, Triss, David Langstaff, Childish Nujabes, AJ, and my boy Big Abdel. Your support is greatly appreciated. Thank you.